أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على محمد وآله الطاهرين. My dear brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum. Today is the first day of Ramadan and we are entered the celebration of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the Shahrullah. We start a journey in which the highest position will come to us inshallah at the nights of Qadr. So to prepare ourselves for that night, we have to go step by step, day by day, one step further to proximity of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And this month's days and nights are the best opportunity for human beings, which is provided by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to think more about his or her life, his or her destination. Because this month is full of blessing of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And all Muslims all around the world, they are seeking and they are trying to gain more and more blessing of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. All situations are prepared to go further toward Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And as I mentioned yesterday, we want to talk about a way which is introduced to us by Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam to go in a right path and to go further toward Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, which is the way of prayer and supplication. And we want to discuss about dua al-Iftitah during these days and nights. Why? Because this is a dua which is narrated by one of the 40 beauties of our beloved Imam al-Asr, Ajjalallahu ta'ala farajahu al-Sharif, Muhammad ibn Usman Amri. He recited this dua and also ordered the Shiites to recite this dua every night in the month of Ramadan. According to some scholars, according to some Shia scholars, this dua have taught to Muhammad ibn Usman by our beloved Imam al-Asr, Ajjalallahu ta'ala farajahu al-Sharif. And this order to recite it every night, according to them, must be from him. From our beloved Imam al-Asr. And according to hadith, the angels, the malaika, will listen to this dua whenever it is recited by someone. And malaika, when they listen to this dua, they pray and they ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for blessing for this person, the reciter of this dua. When we want to recite a dua during this month, we need to care about some elements which can help us in this regard. The first one is to manage our time, daily affairs that we have, and spend more time during this month to talk to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to pray, to recite supplications. This month must not be just like the other months and other days and nights during the year. This is a special month. These are special days and nights. So manage our daily schedule and spend more time to talk to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. To reach to this goal, meaning to spend more time in this regard, we need to be careful about the time of our sleep and the food that we eat during suhoor and iftar, and also the times that we spend for our daily affairs and work. We have to reduce them. Why? Because we have energy, we have enough time to talk to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The other thing which can help us in this regard is to spend that time, meaning the time for talking to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala before suhoor, before Salatul Fajr. That time is the best time that we can connect to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And that time is very recommended from Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam, and also recommended from Quran, which is the recommendation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to spend some time at night before Salatul Fajr to talk to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So if we can spend more time to talk to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and if we can spend that time before Salatul Fajr, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will help us to talk to Him, to gain more advantages of this communication with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, both in material affairs and in spiritual affairs. And the spiritual affairs is most important. Why? Because the spiritual affairs is the one who is saved for us for hereafter. So we will start with this dua. Allahumma inni aftatihu thana'a bihamdik. According to one of the scholars, most important scholars and well-known scholars, this dua, which is narrated from our beloved Imam al-Asr Jalallah Ta'ala Farajuh al-Sharif, one of the things that this dua teaches us is the manner and the way that we have to pray, the way and the manner to recite supplication and talk to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And it starts teaching this way, teaching this manner from the very beginning of this dua. Allahumma inni aftatihu thana'a bihamdik. You can see that this dua starts talking to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with thanksgiving. The first thing that we mention in this dua is to thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for His blessings, for His ni'mah that He provided us from our birth time up to now and up to our death. This is the first point that I wanted to mention according to this dua, and we will talk about it more inshallah in next session. Again, I'll ask you, do not forget in your prayer our beloved Imam al-Asri was Zaman Ajjalallah Ta'ala Farajuh al-Sharif, and we ask Allah subhanahu to hasten in his reappearance. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.